Hi, welcome to Messenger. Today we're going to talk about bacon. How do you get bacon, and what is the process from the farm right to your plate? Okay, I'm going to get into all these important things. Now, this video, just pay attention. Hopefully, it shows you the truth that the factory farming industry just isn't sharing with the public. Okay. So I'll go through this as quick as I can. Okay, then I'll point you to some more information so you can go out there and even see for yourself what is actually happening. So on the farms, okay, especially a lot. I was a truck driver for almost 3 decades, and I always noticed at the back of the big rig trucks, not these trucks actually, but a lot of the like grocery store trucks, they always have images of happy farm animals like this here, right? And in truth, that's not what it is. On the surface, they're giving the public the idea that they're all happy farm animals, they're treated fairly, and they're bred for the idea of food for humans. And but in truth, it's quite horrific what happens. Okay, so let's go step by step, and then I'll redirect you some more information to what's truly happening. Okay, so on the farm you've got pigs. Okay, pigs are bred solely as a product. Okay, they're not looked at as a who. They're looked at more of a what. Most people in countries like Canada, USA, Australia, United Kingdom, the Netherlands, right? Italy, the places where you would call first world countries. That's where most of this type of horror is happening. And the amount of animals, billions and billions of animals are slaughtered each day just for industry. One thing I got to say before I go any further, a lot of people think about vegans. When they think about vegan, they think about a weird people like maybe hippies or something like that. I got to tell you something. I've been in the trucking industry for 3 decades, and some of the largest meat producers are owned by vegans. Okay, vegan doesn't mean hey I love animals. There's some vegans who don't care about animals, and they only became vegans because of health reasons. Okay, there are some people, most people who eat meat, are actually love animals, but they're not being shown the truth as to what's happening in the factory farming industry. Okay, so this is where your bacon comes from. This is where your bacon comes from, and keep watching this video right to the end. I'll make it as fast as possible, so you know what's going on your plate, and you should know what you're eating. It's very responsible for yourself to know what you're putting into your body. So you got a piglet here. Okay, piglets are bred, and on the farms, right? The farms that they want to get them to the weight of 250 pounds. 250 pounds. Let me just get my little trusty notepad out here. The idea for the farmer is to fatten the pig up to 250 pounds. Okay. Now the problem with this whole idea, when they get the piglets, they are castrating and cutting. They're castrating the piglets, right? The male piglets, and cutting their tails off. They cut the tails off both male and females. They castrate the males, and these are little baby pigs, right? Little baby pigs. And they do it without any painkillers, and they do it while he and she are fully conscious. Okay, so a little baby male pig is feeling, seeing, and going through all the torment of having their genitals chopped off by farm workers. One thing I got to say about the people in this type of industry, they cannot have any compassion because they won't be able to do the job. Okay, that means the farm worker that handles these animals, to the truck driver that picks them up, to the guy or girl at the slaughterhouse who actually slits their throats after they're gassed. Okay, so this is where you're getting your bacon from. Now, let me go back to my pad. I'm going to take you into the gas chambers in just a moment. So they get them up to 250 pounds. They're hauled off to the slaughterhouses in semis, sometimes for up to 3 days, guys, without food or water. I've seen a lot of activists doing vigils throughout the world. I've even seen in Ontario, Canada, they had one activist, I believe she tripped accidentally in front of one of the trucks and got run over and killed. And even Joaquin Phoenix, big Hollywood actor, came down. He was in town in Toronto, Canada, and he heard about what happened to that activist, and he came to show support. He showed up at one of the vigils in Burlington in front of one of the biggest pork producers called Fearman's Pork. There's videos on that. You guys can go and check that out after. But vigils are held by activists. They try and give the pigs who are suffering in the back. Okay, as I said, I was a truck driver for years. They try and give the pigs water and stuff like that, and it's frowned upon by the government and especially by the slaughterhouses because they just don't like anyone from the public slowing down the production of pork. But I can tell you something. You see these trucks. I saw these trucks for years. They'd pass me on the road. I always like flashed the light to let them in. But they always gave me the creeps. These big rigs here that are hauling these animals in the back. I was offered jobs. They pay more, but I could never do it. I ate meat for years. I don't eat meat anymore. I went to a slaughterhouse one day in Burlington, and I saw for myself firsthand. Wasn't normally people aren't able to see that kind of stuff. When you go into the slaughterhouse yards, they have huge signs saying no cameras, so on and so forth. But I saw the pain and suffering, and seeing it in a video is nothing like seeing it in person. They've got to, I would see these. They gotta like electrocute them with sticks to get them out because they're terrified and they're scared and they're packed in there. Some of them die in transit, but that's basically how it is, and they're screaming because it's very scary. It's terror, sheer terror is what they're experiencing here. So I'd see these guys sleeping in truck stops over here in Canada at nighttime, and it would be like minus 20 degrees Celsius, and you've got these poor animals suffering, right? Suffering in the back of those semi-rigs while the guy is nice and warm and toasty. They usually have bunk beds behind. Yeah, he's got to pull over and sleep so he doesn't crash. But while he's doing so, you've got a lot of suffering in the back in transit to the slaughterhouse. So sometimes up to 3 days. Sometimes it could be as little as 2 or 3 hours, dependent on how far the pig farm is from the slaughterhouse that he has to deliver to. But that always creeped me out, and it really bothered me because I'd look into the back, and you could look into their eyes, and they're freezing to death. Some of them have frostbite, and in the summertime it's even worse. They don't freeze to death. The air is just not enough air getting into these things, and they're like rammed, packed against each other. Some of them suffocate because they're not getting enough air in the hottest days over here in Canada. Can you imagine in other parts of the world where it's colder or even hotter, what these animals have to go through in order to get, let me just type that in, some good bacon on your plate, right? Now, the great majority of people on the planet, okay, that actually eat bacon, love bacon. So these poor guys, their biggest curse is the idea of bacon, because bacon tastes so good to the meat eaters, okay? So once he gets to the slaughterhouse, and the driver is gonna, he has a type of stick, right? And it's electrically charged. Every time he pokes it in here, because they're terrified, he can't get them off the back of the trailer into the loading dock. I'm just painting you a picture as an example, right? Just pretend it was backed into a building here, the slaughterhouse building. These guys know you got one row of pigs up here, they're all rammed in there. Some of them are they're squeezing each other. They're starving to death, and they're dehydrating them water throughout doing vigils before they get into the slaughterhouses, but they're having a hard time doing so. Usually these guys get pissed off. We just want to go and get another load, and you guys are slowing us up on making more money. Okay, that's what you're looking into. And I'm a truck driver, or I'm not in the industry anymore, but I've been in the industry for 30 years. Okay, 30 years, and I still consider myself a trucker, even though I'm not on the road anymore. Okay, but I've hauled all kind of stuff, but there's no way in hell that you could pay me enough to haul these animals, these poor suffering animals, into a slaughterhouse just so I can make money for myself. I understand he's got to make money, but he's got to have no compassion in order for him to be able to do that job. Okay, so once he gets them offloaded, they try and do it as fast as possible so he could wash this trailer out and go back and pick up another load of terrified animals to take into the slaughterhouse again. The demand in these countries, especially, worldwide, but especially in Canada, US, in Australia, United Kingdom, in the Netherlands, right? In Italy, first world countries, it's just brutal. They just can't keep up with the demand of people who are asking for bacon. Okay, I'm going to take you into someone else's video. I'm going to post a link to this video where you can actually see what happens. So once they get them off of the big rig, okay, they're moved into a room, and then there's guys who basically are trying to urge them through different corridors by different means. So you've got a bunch of pigs who are terrified, who haven't eaten maybe in days, who are dehydrated, who are weak, and the slaughterhouse wants it like that because a weaker animal is easier to control. Once they get them into a bunch of different corridors, they have walls that are pushing them, and they're barely able to scrape along, the walls just move. It's just brutal the way the walls push them along. Finally, they get into these little corridors, and they're hoarded into a little cage, and let's look and see what happens to them. So he closes the door. Oh, we missed a part there. Okay, so they're terrified, they're tired, they're being pushed. Here's the walls pushing them in. Can you imagine if this was a cat or dog, right? I know some of you watching dogs and cats are no different from a pig or a cow, right? They are sentient beings. They can perceive the world. Pigs have even been tested by scientists. Science proved that pigs are even smarter than dogs, or pigs are capable of playing video games. Okay, this one here is showing a bolt to the head. Some facilities do that, but most, in these countries like Canada, US, Australia, United Kingdom, because of the numbers of animals that are coming in, they prefer to gas them because they can gas them. It's quicker they put them in these cages. I'm going to pause this for a sec. They finally get about 3 or 4 into the cage, and they are lowered into the depths of darkness, okay, into a room lower below. This is like a scene from a horror movie, taking someone, a being, into hell, lower down, and now they're going to be gassed with carbon dioxide. Now for 30 seconds, okay, this is one of those shock sticks, electric shock sticks that I was talking about. You see, he's shocking the pig, the terrified pig, to get it to move further down the line. And they know, right? They can perceive the world around them just like we can, right? That's why we call them sentient beings. They know what's happening. They can perceive the world around them. They can feel compassion. They can feel fear. They can feel hatred, right? Just like humans do. No different from even your dog. Can you imagine if some of you dog lovers out there, can you imagine if this was happening to you? Can you imagine if you guys love dogs and they had let's say Chinese. A lot of people are looking down at the Chinese. Oh, the dog meat fat. Can you imagine if this was a bunch of dogs instead of pigs? And pigs are no different. We are bred by society. What, for centuries, someone heard, the Bible or the religious books that were written by men, right? Written by other men in the past, said something like Jesus said all the animals are food for us to eat. Did Jesus ever come and tell you that to yourself? Do you know that for sure? Our parents told us stories that we are meant to dominate over these pigs, over these cows, over the chickens, right? But did God come and tell us this, right? These are the things that we should be looking into and thinking about. Now this is kind of a horrific, what's going to happen next. So they're going lower down into the carbon dioxide. Carbon gas is starting to be released, and they're inhaling it, and that's painful. I've never tried inhaling carbon dioxide for 30 seconds, but this is what's going to happen to them. A lot of pain, nostrils starting to burn, mouth starts to burn. Can you imagine this happening to your dog if you had a dog? Let me stop there for a sec. Let me go back to the picture. That's what that's the end result, right? Coming from him or her. Look at the pain. Look at the pain. Okay, now they get dumped out. Now the workers are hoping, the slaughterhouse workers are hoping at this point they're unconscious. And it's not always the case, dependent on how heavy the pig is. Something is picking it up, and he slits the throat. Okay. Look, he's still moving. Still moving around. Look at the face. That's the face of your meat. That's what you're putting into your body. And that's how it gets to your plate. I mean, that's the only way. There's no humane way. There's absolutely no humane way to do this. Bullet to the head, slice in the throat. And in the third world countries, it's more worse because they don't have the technology, but animals suffer even more over there. But it comes down to a lot of suffering, and it comes down to marketing, right? They're telling everyone this is the life on the farm, and giving you the idea of back in the days of old MacDonald, happy animals. There's no way in hell that's what's happening. This here, to me, even though I was a trucker for 30 years, never hauled livestock. I maybe 3 or 4 times I delivered to slaughterhouses, packaging material. 3 or 4 times at 30 years. Oh my God, that was enough for me. The last time, going to Fearman's Pork. I don't even know what kind of name of that is. Fearman's Pork. Fearman's Pork. And it's owned by a Canadian, but he's actually from, well, he's Canadian citizen, but he's Persian from Iran, making money off of pigs, and most Persians don't eat pork. Quite a story. But after seeing that stuff for myself in person, I couldn't eat another morsel of meat up to now. And it's nothing like in video. So what I'm going to do next, for those of you who still want to learn more, you should know what you're putting into your body. And you should know what's the cost of you getting a piece of bacon, or bacon for your family, bacon in the morning, bacon and eggs. I used to be big on bacon, guys. Okay. I ate meat for years. 40-something years I ate meat, and I was one of the guys who loved bacon sandwiches, but seeing stuff like that in person, it just changed me, and I became vegetarian, and then eventually vegan. Okay, and it was not because I was trying to be a weird hippie. Okay, it had nothing to do with that, nothing to do with lifestyle. It's just, there's just too much suffering happening to your meat before you get to even consume it. And a lot of other souls, right? The animals have souls, they're sentient beings. They could perceive, they have 5 senses just like we do, right? They can feel, smell, taste, right? All that stuff. They can perceive the world, and then they have the 6th sense like humans. So do cows, so do other beings, right? Even a chicken is a sentient being. A lot of people don't understand this stuff, right? I'm not asking you to understand all this stuff or even accept all this information, but they have the sixth sense just like we have, and they can sense love, they can sense fear, they can fear from other pigs, they can sense fear from humans. So they have the sixth sense. They can sense compassion, they can sense hatred, right? Now what I'm going to ask you to do is go underneath this video. I'm going to include a link direct to this video here so you can see the whole thing with the voiceover of the original creator. A lot of the activists and animal activist organizations, they're not doing enough SEO keyword research. So I'm making these videos to point to those videos, okay? There's even a video here on chicken shredding. Learn what it takes to get that KFC chicken on your plate. Okay, male chickens in hatcheries worldwide in these first world countries like Canada, US, UK, Australia, etc. Right? They've got machines that pick these chicks out of their eggs before they're ready, and workers are tossing them around, and all male chicks are considered by poultry companies as wasted meat. They take brand new male chicks. It happens right here in Canada every single day. It happens in the US every single day. It happens in the UK and in Australia every single day. First world countries. They take all the male chicks and they put them in a machine and they grind them up, push them towards moving blades, and they grind them up live, fully conscious. And I don't know what they use that for. Maybe chicken hot dogs. So you guys really need to know. I'll include some more videos for you to watch. Hopefully you got some value here. I know it's kind of a gruesome story, but what I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to convert people to veganism. I just think that the public really needs to see what you're dealing with here, because we are all paying as consumers for all of this horrific things to be happening to animals. And as I said, there's no way to do this humanely to a bunch of beings, a bunch of creatures who want to live, and they're not even asked to be put on earth. Humans are going out there and breeding them, bringing them into our existence, into the existence of this horror show, and they're not getting any compassion or love from day one right to 6 months, guys. Usually they kill the pig at 6 months old, because after that they say the meat is just too tough. So it's basically killing baby pigs that weigh up to 250 pounds, and they are experiencing a lot of terror. I'm going to include a bunch of links on the bottom. See what you are open to looking at, but you really should investigate to see what you're paying for to show up on your plate, as in with this video here, what it takes, how is bacon made, how is bacon created. Okay. So this concludes my video. Go lower below and take a look at those other links and actually follow through for your own for yourself, right? To see what you're putting into your body and what is the cost to get the meat onto your plate. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'm going to ask you guys if you to subscribe. I will be giving some more information ongoing on this channel. Also, would you please like and share this video so that these type of helpful videos, right? I know it's a gruesome video, but don't you think people need to know what's on their plate? So please like and share this video so that it'll be able to reach more people. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.